Hello, everybody. I hope that you are having a great week. I wanted to share with you today a word of hope and a word of encouragement, particularly one that has been meaningful to me in recent times. And it comes from Matthew chapter 16, verse 18. And Jesus is talking to Peter, and he says this: I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not overcome it. Let me repeat that one more time. Jesus is talking to the Apostle Peter, and he says, I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not overcome it. I want to ask us to hold on to those words this week and in this time. I know that it's been a crazy season here now for a while with COVID and the pandemic, and then trying to figure out what does it mean to be God's church in this time, and how do we be God's church in this time. And if we're not careful, it can become an easy time to become discouraged because so many things look differently today than they did a while back. But what I want to remind us of today is that God tends to move powerfully in these times of uncertainty. And I want to commend you, First Church, for your faithfulness and your willingness to live into God's missional impulse in this time. What I want to remind us of today is that God has used God's church throughout the ages and in all kinds of circumstances. And even when circumstances looked their most bleak, God has used God's church. God has not turned away and found a plan B, C, or D. God has said, I'm going to use my church, and even the gates of hell will not be able to stand against it. That was true in the time of Jesus with his apostles. That was true in the Middle Ages. That was true 100 years ago. And let me tell you, it is true now as well. And so I just want to ask you to hear that today, church, because normally now, right, all that we tend to hear are all of these statistics of negativity and how God's church is not doing well. Today, I just want to remind you and lift up some of the wonderful things that we see God doing among us, because when you start to put them all together, there are a lot of powerful things that are happening. Just in the last few weeks here in the life of First Church, we had new individuals join fully in discipleship in the life of the church. So coming out of this COVID season or during this COVID season, God is still moving and people are connecting with us to grow in their faith. We've been privileged to start our next Disciples Journey Step 2 group. And this with a group of people who are excited to discover their gifts and are proactively saying, God, how can you use me with these gifts in your kingdom? And getting plugged in that way. We are so excited to see what's happening with our youth right now. We have a great group of kids that are going to be going through the confirmation process. We have a number of our students now involved in life groups on a weekly basis, and we're thrilled about that. We're so excited for the staff that God is bringing among us. Many of you have had a chance to meet Michael and Caroline Glazier. If you haven't met them yet, I hope you'll get to meet them sometime soon. Michael is working with us in college ministry and is the director of the Acts Network. And then Caroline is working as our student minister. And we are so grateful for their spirit and their excitement they're bringing in those respective ministries. We are excited because we have the opportunity to continue to grow together. And so we've just recently come through this kickoff into the fall where we focused on Genesis as an entire church. We saw new individuals join in life groups. We saw some new life groups begin, and we are thrilled about that. We are gaining new opportunities to connect with college students right now in a variety of ways through dinners and through one-on-one connections, and having the chance to walk with them as they explore life and discovering what faith means to them. We're enjoying new times of connection. And so you know that on Sunday mornings, we have a social hour from 10 to 11 every week where we can share in coffee and refreshments, but also once a month, we're sharing in a brunch experience. And it's been so good to see people connect and share in that brunch time. And we've had a lot of people doing that every month that we do it. We've begun new opportunities for our children. We have a kids' church experience also once a month. And we're loving seeing kids get connected in those experiences. We recently just shared together in the Fall Fest, which was another new opportunity just to connect and to be together and to be in our community and to share in relationship and to share in goodness. It's just been really good. And then in the midst of all of that, in a time when you would feel like maybe we don't have a chance to connect with a lot of people, we are seeing different and new people connect with us and to explore life together. I just want to share those things with you to say, church, God is still using the church, and God is using us, and God is using you. And so today, please know that truth. Please hold on to that truth. Please hope in that truth. That what God has said, what Jesus said to Peter, is still true today. That God still uses the church, and even the gates of hell will not stand against it. So may we be a church that lives into the humble power of that reality. And I hope that you are encouraged. I hope that you are excited. I hope we'll have a chance to worship with you this weekend. In person, we continue to explore online possibilities as well. We continue to explore with our Acts network and meeting people on their turf. Church, it's an amazing time to be the church. And so I just invite your continued prayers at this time. We are a church all about transformation in Jesus Christ. So would you be praying right now that God would use First Church to be transforming lives in Christ? And would you be praying that even the gates of hell will not be able to stand against the holy movement of God? First Church, it is a blessing to serve with you. We are so encouraged by what we see God doing and stirring among us, and I'm thrilled that we get the opportunity to walk in this time together. So blessings to you. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful week, and we can't wait to see what else God has in store. Take care.